Alright, Karina baby, today is the 8th. So the story for the 8th is Ali Baba. See it? Baba sheep. Baba black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. One's for the master, 2 for the dame, and 3 for the little boy who lives down the lane. Baba black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. Alright, so Ali Baba. One evening, Ali Baba, the ram, was eating grass. Suddenly, he looked up and saw the sun slip behind the mountains. Creeping horn, said Ali Baba. I must go and tell my wife the sun is falling. So Ali Baba went to his wife. Curly whirly, cried Ali Baba. The sun is falling. Great balls of wool, cried Curly Whirly. We must go and tell the cow who lives in the meadow. So Ali Baba and Curly Whirly went to see the cow Koi, Cooey, Koi Mooey. It was midnight when they got to the meadow. Koi Mooey, cried Ali Baba, the sun is falling. Frizzling milkshakes, cried Hooey Mooey. We must go and tell the horse who lives in the farmyard. So Ali Baba, Curly Whirly, and Koi Mooey went along to see the horse, clippity-clop. It was nearly dawn when they got to the farmyard. Clippity-clop, cried Ali Baba, the sun is falling. Jumping haystacks, cried Clippity-clop, we must go and tell the farmer. So Ali Baba, Curly Whirly, Cooey Mooey, and Clippity-cloppity all went to see the farmer. Deary me, cried Ali Baba. The sun is falling. Deary me put her hands on her hips and laughed. Look behind you, she said. The sun isn't falling, it's rising. Ali Baba, Curly Whirly, Cooey Mooey, and Clippity-cloppity all looked. Surely enough, the sun was just coming up over the hill. Well, I'm glad about that, said Ali Baba. Now we can all go home. They got so worried that they missed a night of rest. It is so important that when it's nighttime out that we sleep, right? I used to sing you this song all the time. The sun has gone to bed. The moon has come out to play. It's time to rest your head. Tomorrow will bring a brand new day. Go to sleep, my little baby. For the sun has gone to bed, and the moon has come out to play. It's time to rest your head. Tomorrow will be a brand new day, right? Because every single day we need to learn lots and lots of new things. And then what do we need to do? We need to sleep so our brain can assimilate and put together all the things that we learn throughout the days. Right? We need our rest. We need our sleep. Our brain and our body need to rejuvenate and regenerate. So we need to sleep. Puss in Boots is a story. I actually really like this one a lot for the children's literature book. A miller who was dying divided all his property between his 3 children. This was a very simple matter, as he had nothing to leave but his mill, his donkey, and his cat. So he made no will and called in no lawyer, for he would probably have taken a large slice out of the poor possessions. The elder son took the mill, the second took the donkey, and the third was obliged to be content with the cat. At which he grumbled very much. My brothers, said he, by putting their property together may gain an honest livelihood, but there is nothing left for me except to die of hunger, unless indeed I were to kill my cat and eat him, and make a coat out of his skin. which would be very scantily clothing. The cat, who heard the young man talking to himself, looked at him with grave and wise air, and said, "Master, I think you had better not kill me. I shall be much more useful to you alive." "How so?" asked his master. "You have but to give me a sack and a pair of boots, which such a gentleman wore when they were shooting, and you will find you are not so ill off as you suppose." Now, thought the young miller did not put much faith in the cat's words. He thought it rather surprising that a cat should speak at all, and as he had never before seen him show so much cleverness in catching rats and mice, as he had before seen how him show so much cleverness in catching rats and mice, that it seemed well to trust him a little further, especially as a poor young fellow he had nobody else to trust. When the cat got his boots and drew them on with a great air, then slinging his sack over his shoulder and drawing the cords of it round his neck, he marched bravely to the rabbit-worn head. The rabbit-worn hard by, with which he was well acquainted, putting some bran and lettuce into his bag and stretching himself out beside it as if he were dead. He waited for some fine, fat young rabbits to peer into the sack to eat the food that was inside. This happened very shortly, for there are plenty of foolish young rabbits on every warren, and when one of them, who really was a splendid fat fellow, put his head inside, Master Puss drew the cord immediately and took him and killed him without mercy. Then, very proud of his prey, he marched directly up to the palace and begged to speak with the king. He was desired to ascend to the apartment of his majesty, where, making a low bow, he said, "Sire, here is a magnificent rabbit from the warren of my lord, the master of Carabas, which he has desired me to offer humbly to your majesty." "Tell your master," replied the king, "that I accept his present, and I am very much obliged to him." After that time, Puss went and hid himself and his sack in a wheat field, and caught 2 splendid fat partridges in the same manner he had done the rabbit. When he presented them to the king with a similar message as before, his majesty was so pleased that he ordered that the cat to be taken down into the kitchen and given something to eat and drink. One day, hearing that the king was intending to take a drive by the river with his daughter, the most beautiful princess in all the world, Puss said to his master, "Sir, if you would only follow my advice, your fortune is made. You have only to go and bathe in the river at the place which I shall show you, and leave all the rest to me. Only remember that you are no longer yourself, but my lord, the Muscu of Cannabis, of Carabas, the Marquis of Carabas." The miller's son agreed, not that he had any faith in the cat's promise, but because he no longer cared what happened. He no longer cared. He's like, "I'm done. I don't care. I'll agree with you." While he was bathing, the king and all the court passed by, and were startled to hear loud cries of, "Help! Help! Help! My lord, the Marquis of Carabas, is drowning." The king put his head out of the carriage and saw nobody but the cat, who had at different times brought him so many presents of game. However, he ordered his guards to go quickly to help of my lord the master of Carabas, the Marquis of Carabas. While they were pulling the unfortunate Marquis out of the water, the cat came up, going to the side of the king's carriage, and told a long and pitiful story about some thieves who, while his master was bathing, had come and carried away all of his clothes, so that it would be impossible for him to appear before his majesty and the glorious princess. "Oh, we will soon remedy that," answered the king kindly, and immediately ordered of the first officers of the household to ride back to the palace with all speed and bring back the most elegant supply of clothes for the young gentleman, who kept in the background until they arrived. Then, being handsome and well made in his new clothes, became him so well that he looked as if he had been a marquis all his days, and advanced with an air of respectful ease to order his thanks to the majesty. The king received him courteously, and the princess admired him very much. Indeed, so charming did he appear to her that she persuaded her father to invite him into the carriage with them, which you may be sure the young man did not refuse. The cat, delighted in the success of his scheme, went away as fast as he could, and ran so swiftly that he kept a long way ahead of the royal carriage. He went and on till he came to some peasants who were mowing in the meadow. "Good people," said he, in a very firm voice, "the king is coming past here shortly, and if you do not say that the field you are mowing belongs to my lord, the Marquis of Carabas, you shall all be chopped as small as mincemeat." So when the king drove by and asked whose meadow it was that there was such a splendid crop of hay, the mowers all answered in trembling tones that it belonged to the lord, the Marquis of Carabas. "You have very fine land, Marquis," said the majesty to the miller's son. "Yes, sir," he answered, "it is not a bad meadow. Take it all together." Then the cat came to the wheat field where the reapers were reaping with all their might. He bounced in upon them. "The king is coming past today, and if you do not tell him that this wheat belongs to the Lord Marquis of Carabas, I will have you, every one, chopped as small as mincemeat." The reapers, very much alarmed, did as they were told, and the king congratulated the Marquis upon possessing such beautiful fields, laden with such an abundant harvest. They drove on, the cat always running before and saying the same thing to everybody he met, that they were to declare the whole country belonged to the Marquis, so that even the king was astonished at. Look at this. Here's Puss in Boots. And there they are at the banquet dinner. "The vast estate of my lord, the Marquis of Carabas." But now the cat arrived at the great castle where dwelt an orc, to whom belonged all the land through which the king had been passing. He was a cruel tyrant, and his tenants and servants were terribly afraid of him. This accounted for their being so ready to say whatever they were told to say by the cat, who had taken pains to find out all about the orc. So, putting on the boldest face he could assume, Puss marched up to the castle with his boots on, and asked to see the owner of it, saying that he was on his travels, but did not wish to pass so near the castle of such a noble gentleman without paying his respects to him. When the orc heard this message, he went to the door, received the cat as civilly as an orc can, and begged him to walk in and repose himself. "Thank you, sir," said the cat, "but first I hope you will satisfy the traveler's curiosity. I have heard in far countries of your many remarkable qualities, and especially how you have the power to change yourself into any sort of beast you choose, a lion, for instance, or an elephant." "That is quite true," replied the orc, "and lest you should doubt it, I will immediately become a lion." He did so, and the cat was so frightened that he sprang up to the roof of the castle and hid himself in the gutters, and proceeded rather inconveniently on account of his boots, which were not exactly fitted to walk with upon tile. At length, perceiving that the orc had resumed his original form, he came down again steadily, and confessed that he had been very much frightened. "But, sir," said he, "it may be easy enough for such a big gentleman as you to change himself into a large animal. I do not suppose that you can become a small one, a rat or a mouse, for instance. I have heard that you can. Still, for my part, I consider it quite impossible." "Impossible!" cried the indignantly, cried the other indignantly. "You shall see." And immediately the cat saw the orc no longer, but a little mouse running along the floor. This was exactly what he wanted, and he did the most natural thing a cat could do in that circumstance. He sprung upon the mouse and gobbled it up in a trace. So there was an end to the orc. By the time the king had arrived opposite the castle and was seizing with a strong desire to enter it, the cat, hearing the noise of the carriage wheels, ran forward in a great hurry, and standing at the gate, said in a loud voice, "Welcome, sir, to the castle of my lord, the Marquis of Carabas." "What?" cried your majesty, very much surprised. "Does this castle also belong to you?" "Truly, Marquis, you have kept your secret wall up to the last minute. I have never seen anything finer than this courtyard and this battlements. Indeed, I have nothing like them in the whole of my dominions." The Marquis, without speaking, helped the princess to descend, and standing aside that the king might enter first, for he had already acquired all the manners of a court, followed by his majesty to the great hall, where a magnificent collection had been spread for the orc and some of his friends. Without more delay, they all sat down to feast. The king, charmed with all the good qualities of Marquis of Carabas, and likewise his wine, of which he had drank 6 or 7 cups, said, bowling across the table at which the princess and the miller's son were talking very confidently together, "It rests with you, Marquis, whether you will not become my son-in-law." "I shall be only too happy," said the Marquis, very readily, and the princess's eyes declared the same. So they were married the very next day, and took possession of the orc's castle and everything that had belonged to him. And as for the cat, he became at once a grand personage, and he had never had any need to run after mice except for his own amusement. Alright, I love that story. I like the cat. I like the cat story. Alright, baby, let's do Lila Tove again, honey. It's sweet. I do miss you, though. I do love you. I can't wait to see you. You know that. I can't wait to hold you. I can't wait to have you. I can't wait to take you places. I can't wait to see you. I miss you so much. I love you so much. I do. I love you. Let's do Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious was that grace thus far, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, snares, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. I miss you. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Well, I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming forth to carry me home, a band of angels coming after me, coming forth and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Well, sometimes I'm up and sometimes I'm down, coming forth to carry me home. But still I feel my soul is heavenly bound, coming forth and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth and carry me home. Now if you get there before I do, coming forth to carry me home. Tell all my friends I'll be coming there too, coming forth and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth and carry me home. I'll be coming home, coming home, coming home to you, coming forth to carry me home. You know my word is good, you know my word is true, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, Come and forth and carry me home. You know that I love you. Come and forth to carry me home. You know my word is good. You know my word is true. Come and forth and carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot. Come and forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot. Come and forth and carry me home. Man, baby, I love you and I miss you so much. I never wanted to leave your side. I never wanted to leave your side. I wanted to just raise you. It's the only thing Mama ever wanted to do. My entire life, the only thing I ever wanted to do was be a good mama. That's it. I'm a woman. That's the only thing I want to do. I want to be a good mama, a good wife. I want to have a good home where I get respected and people love me. So, like, it's not really, like, the love part of it. It's more, like, where people don't call me names and don't do stupid things. You know? God, I love you. I'm so sorry I'm not by you right now and holding you and reading you books and singing you songs in person. Sorry. I did want to be there every single second of every single day. I'm great with everyone else's kids. Everyone's kids love me. Like, it's crazy. I don't have my own kid on me right now. It's crazy. But I miss you and I love you. I miss you and I love you so much. You will always be my little girl. You'll always be my young lady when you become my young lady. You'll always be my daughter. Alright? You'll always be my daughter. I will always love you. No matter what. It's unconditional love, baby. You have Mama's love forever and ever and ever and ever, no matter what. There's no stipulations on it. I had you. I love you. I will always love you, honey. I will always love you. I miss you so much. Alright, baby, let's do Lila Tove. Lila Tove, and good night to you. Lila Tove, may your dreams come true. We sing Lila Tove, may Israel protect you throughout the night until we reach the morning light. I love you, I miss you, I can't wait to see you, my angel. I love you so much. Like Papa always used to say, Mama's Papa's sun, Papa's my moon, and you are quite literally our rainbow baby, and we both love you. We just need to find a way to all work together, right? Mama and Papa need to find a way to work together. So this way, things are good. I love you and I miss you, honey.